I think he can hear you, Ray.
Don't move. It won't hurt you.
I feel the need for speed. Ow! So together we're the Three Amigos.
Frighteners, stop. Batman, what happened? Are you okay?
He's slimy.
Is it getting hot in here? Is it just me?
No, go past this. Past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Woo! Hey everyone, welcome to After the Weekend. We are here tonight, Monday Live. I'm JT Gunn. I'm here with my good buddy, Beard of Liberty. How are you,
folks?
Man?
I've had a rough last 24 hours or so, but you know what? Overall, I'm doing pretty good. I could complain, but nobody wants to hear it, so I won't.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. So we don't. So you had I'm guessing you had an okay weekend. That's what you're saying.
I had a pretty good weekend. The last little bit was the worst part. When you're an hour from home and your car basically decides, I'm done. Yep, exactly. That was me on the side of a Dollar General, just sitting there being grumpy for like 3 hours while I waited to get towed.
Oh, I could just see you at a Dollar General and then the stewing in the corner upset everyone.
Oh, I was like full.
Hey, Phil? Phil? Hey, Phil Connors.
Ned?
Pretty accurate if somebody had come up and wanted to be like, hey, buddy, at that moment. But anyway, nobody wants to hear about that. We're not here for
okay,
that.
we both had car trouble this weekend. It sucks. It happens. But we are here to have some fun tonight. We are going over a fun, kind of a fun, creepy movie. We decided to review another review for our spooky review. You kind of paused there for a moment. You okay? You coughed and then froze.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully my internet is not being difficult. It might be.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're okay. Now this was like spooky month, so we wanted to invite a guest because our two's on a break, and we always have fun with threes. So we wanted to we invited Death Row here. How's it going?
Going.
You changed your name.
No, I didn't.
Okay. All right.
I caught it before he came. Before I got it,
I was going to call you Deaf R2 because you're the third wheel here now.
I was like, wait a minute, I didn't do that. I switched it real quick, and I was like,
He is R2 to the row.
R2 to the row. There you go. There's an R2 to the row. Yeah, that should be a good one. No, it's always good to have you here. This month's been great. We've been having a fun time. We've reviewed quite a few movies. So we've done last week. We did Troll 2, not related to Troll 1, and so that was fun. That was your pick, and so we're continuing with October, and I think we're gonna review. What else did we review? That's right, High Spirit. High Spirit. Yeah. That's right. We did High Spirit. I was trying to look for it. I was like, what the heck did we?
That's right.
The Gutenberg special.
There we go. He's quitting.
Quit infringing all.
He quit infringing on my God-given Christian name.
Yeah. So we'll just do that. So your name is R to the row. So we'll just have some fun. We do have some people in the chat here. We got Vanquish. Good to see you, buddy. We got Jacob, of course. Looks like someone's got a case of the Mondays. Yeah.
Mondays are the worst. Garfield had it right.
They are pretty bad, but not on this channel. Mondays are fun on After the Weekend, right? Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're terrible during the day. They're great at night.
They're great at night. Oops, I clicked the wrong one.
That's what she said.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to have you here. So tonight, what'd you say? Okay. AfterTheWeekend. Okay. That's good. That's a good one. That's a funny one. I like that one. That's funny. Alrighty, so tonight we're doing another spooky review, and we're doing everyone's like, hurry up, tell the movie. We're doing the Frighteners. This is what we're reviewing tonight. But before we get started, Ro, did you have a good weekend? Did you have car troubles? I didn't ask you.
Well, I couldn't have car troubles because I didn't go anywhere. So
okay. Did you have video stacking troubles? Did you have?
Not really, man. It's pretty boring down there, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I mean, it's one of those things that's you got enough money to just pay bills these days. Really, can't really go do extracurricular type stuff.
I hear that. Yep. I hear that. Yep. You know what you could do? You could probably take up an extra job, and maybe you can work for Beard's lawn mowing.
Ghost ride the wind. Ghost ride the wind. Ghost ride the wind. Ghost.
I heard a lot of ladies hire him.
Yeah, the weird thing is, more ladies hire me looking like the previous video than the second video. I don't know why.
Rose's name sounds like how you canoe in the hood.
You rode to the boat.
Rose's name. He wrote roses. I wonder who he's talking about. Okay, Rose. Okay. All right, so Frighteners. Yeah, that's what we're reviewing tonight. Beard, was this a first watch for you?
All the way through, yes, but I had actually seen sections of this several times on TV, because even just like as soon as I knew what it was, I knew it was Michael J. Fox. I could picture the car. I could picture his two ghost buddies. I'd forgotten about the third, but I knew enough that I knew that I had seen something of this film, but I couldn't have told you beforehand what the plot was. So I guess 50-50 first watch.
Yeah.
50-50 first watch. Okay. All right. Ro, you picked this movie. You watched this movie, I'm guessing, multiple times.
Oh yeah.
And when was the first time you watched it?
Probably, I want to say maybe a year and a half after it came out. Okay. Because I didn't see it in theater, and because we were not exactly, we were the lower middle class growing up. And
you were in the middle class? Okay, I was in the middle class.
the lower middle class,
Okay.
Anyway, we rented a lot of movies. Is what I'm saying. We didn't buy them back then. And one of them that we rented a lot. Well, a friend of mine actually rented this, and I watched it for the first time with him. And neither one of us knew who Peter Jackson was at the time or anything. So this is my first intro to anything Peter Jackson. And so, yeah, I loved it from the first time I watched it. So,
okay, very cool. I first watched this. I used to work at a video store, and we would get these movies in like months before you would get to rent them out right to the public. And they're called test screen VHSs or whatever, test screeners, and they have like numbers at the bottom. And it was kind of, sometimes it would be like a weird cut. And we would watch the movies to sample them so we know what they were when they came out. That's how I watched this movie originally. And then when it came out on VHS in the movie stores, I watched it that way. I did enjoy it when I was a kid, and I had a blast with it. And I was a big fan of Michael J. Fox at the time, because it was 96, so this is about 10 years after Back to the Future, and however, I should have watched it and left it in the past. Unfortunately, I had to rewatch it. Unfortunately, I didn't get the same vibe that I did as a kid, because last time I watched this was probably about 15 years ago. So I don't know.
JT, why are you a bitter old man now?
I don't know. Maybe because I just hang out with you too much. Maybe that's why.
Oh, okay. That actually kind of makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Rise and shine. And don't forget your booties, because it's cold out there today.
Don't forget your booties.
Don't forget your booty. Yeah. So, yeah, they would have parts of the movie go out. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, sometimes when we get those screener videos, yes, there would be scenes in that movie that never made it to the VHS.
I mean, I had screeners back when I worked at GameStop in the early 2000s. People would come into possession of screeners that technically weren't supposed to be out in public, and they'd come trade them in. So, yeah, I saw a couple of those.
Oh yeah,
through my store.
I've seen a lot of movies that way. Yeah, like when I worked. Yeah, when I was. I didn't go to the movie theater, especially this movie. This was rated R. So in 1996, I was probably. I'm gonna say.
Do math.
I was either 13 or 14. So yeah, I did not go see.
Well, and looking at this movie today, how in the hell is it rated R other than just a little bit of the gore?
And the weird thing is, I don't think it actually made the cut for my facts later on, is that Peter Jackson cut things and cut things and cut things and cut things, trying to not make it rated R. He wanted it to be PG-13.
Okay.
And nothing he did would get it rated PG-13. So there's a couple scenes in here where he said, screw it, since it's going to be R, I'm going to go all out.
Yeah, they do.
But even then, it's not that bad compared to even other R-rated movies at the time.
Well, thanks for stumbling in, Admiral T.
Hey, Admiral T, what's up?
So like, yeah, there was some cuss words in it, right? There was some a little gore. There was like, I mean, I don't know. Well, maybe they just didn't like Peter Jackson and they just picked the R.
I mean, even like there's a certain character who gets eliminated. Let's use that word, eliminated at a certain point. And it was done a totally different way that was PG-13, would fall in that category, could be shown on TV even then, not even just today. And they said, nope, still rated R. So Peter Jackson basically threw up the double fingers and said, okay, screw it. I'm going to just like go all out and just make this even worse.
Yeah. Your numbers up was a tagline. Or there was the, I think that says, beware, they're coming. And it's like the three ghosts. And then it shows Michael J. Fox there in a yellow raincoat. There was some satanic undertones in this movie. Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
It had a vibe of like 1960 kind of cult vibe to it. Like what happens later when they're older. Death has no way of make. Yeah, that's another tagline. Death has no way.
Death is no way to make a living. Yeah.
Yep. So this was directed by Peter Jackson and also written by him and Fran Walsh. So yes, this was an early movie of Peter Jackson's.
Although technically, and I won't say this every single time later on when we get to the facts, Sir Peter Jackson and Dame Fran Walsh. So let's just get that out there. Yes, I know.
Really?
Everyone.
You are gay.
Okay.
That's Sir Peter Jackson.
I don't guess you really have a defense to that. If that's what you believe, so be it.
Oh, look at this. We got a grade A suck up. Good to know.
It's okay. You're right. I guess he. Let's see. From the director of The Hunt of Gollum.
Don't highlight R2's comment.
No, I won't. But yes, this movie came out quite a couple of years. I think it was like 2 or 3 years before Peter Jackson started thinking of doing Lord of the Rings, and probably was in the process of doing that movie. So This was right on the tail of that.
Yeah.
Most people probably didn't know who Peter Jackson was, and then
At the time, yeah, probably not.
No, because I mean, he only did two. There was two major films before this that were also horror films, and one really bad Muppet type movie, and a couple things here and there that really didn't get a lot of attention. But this one having Michael J. Fox in it for some reason. How he got Michael J. Fox to do this movie, I don't know. But
I don't. Okay, I can't remember. I don't think I'm spoiling any trivia. He was the first and only choice.
okay,
Like that Peter Jackson considered. The studio considered others, but he was the first choice for both Peter Jackson and what's her face, Fran Walsh, whatever it was. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that he was the guy that they had pictured in mind whenever they kind of did everything from the start. So
Right.
I don't know if they had to jump through hoops to get him there, but he was their go-to man.
Well, he was also Michael J. Fox was also in Spin City at this time.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna try to ruin any of your fun facts here, but
No, go ahead, man.
he was also dealing with Parkinson's disease early.
Yep.
From in this time, but no one knew it. So I have a feeling that there were probably parts in this movie that either he was worn out or could not do due to that. So I think that I wish he was in it. His scenes in it are kind of sporadic, and sometimes it seems like he should have done one scene and someone else did it. So I have a feeling that had to play in it, but who knows? But yeah, here he is. Here's Michael J. Fox with Peter Jackson with some nose rings. And
and that what you see there as Peter Jackson is actually his cameo in the movie.
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox's character bumps into him, and you just get a brief glimpse of him, and he basically tells him to F off. And yeah.
Let's see here. I think he just offered him the chance to yell at Michael J. Fox. Yeah. Let's see here. How he got R.E. Ermely is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Emery. Yeah, is what I always wanted.
That didn't actually come up in any of the trivia that I was looking at, so I don't necessarily have an answer to that, other than just maybe here's money, and the guy said okay.
Yeah, that guy's always. We're gonna show a picture of him, but he's always a military person.
Yeah.
Or like a coach or something.
Well, and you got to understand too, this entire movie was filmed in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, even though the tags say otherwise on the cars and stuff, it was filmed entirely in New Zealand. Well, they try to make it look like New California, but you can tell because especially if you go back and look at some of the other stuff that Peter Jackson did, like Dead Alive and Bad Taste, they're all filmed in the same place, in the same area.
Yeah.
So you can make out some of the landscape from one movie to the other is similar.
Peter Jackson always looks like a unhoused man in search of a nickel bag and a bottle of wine.
Okay. Early. Okay.
Oh my God, that is funny!
I was about to say early Peter Jackson, yes, but then filming The Hobbit and partially losing weight because he was stressed and partially because he was trying to lose weight. Peter Jackson looks like he was an unhoused man that was addicted to a different substance.
Yeah.
Stupid fat hobbit.
Yeah, man, they got to sell nickel bags these days because they ain't got enough money for dime bags anymore.
True. All right, so Michael J. Fox, his character is Frank Bannister. He's a psychic. He does have a backstory, but we'll get into that later. But when you first get introduced to him, he's like a con man who's friends with ghosts, and then they go and shake up a house or spin a bed or cause some ruckus, right? And then they magically leave his card on the table.
Yeah, it is a literal shakedown. They show up, and shake things down, and then he shows up and gets money.
Yeah, and so he comes in and answers these calls, and he's just kind of the town con man. He's just been there for a few years.
Yeah,
and everyone kind of suspects that he's faking it when he's not really faking it, but he is kind of faking it, right?
Yeah.
So, this is a different character for Michael J. Fox. Usually he's like the good guy, right? He's He's
Yeah,
like,
he's kind of in the middle on this.
yeah, he looks pretty strung out. Like he's tired. He's been probably drinking a lot, or he's just on down on his. He was like Beard's Weekend. He's just kind of grumpy.
I mean,
He's
as
just,
we get into the film, we see that he owes money and things like that, and then we find out his backstory, and it totally makes sense why he would really any person would find themselves in this position if they could see ghosts and take advantage of it.
yeah. Such a fun film from the premise, humor, the VX to the characters. One of my favorite Michael J. Fox performances.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Careful,
Okay.
Rensler. You might be fighting. Those are fighting words with JT right now.
I'm just to let everybody know. Like I said, I should have kept this in the past because I like this movie better when I was younger. When I rewatched it the other day as a 42-year-old man, for some reason I wasn't into it as much. It's not a bad movie. It was decent. I still watched it. I enjoyed it. It was better than Troll 2, but it was
What? It is.
I don't know. I felt like this movie was like it was either there was some points where it was really rushed, or like there are some characters where I'm like, why do we need this person? So, but we'll get into it. I won't be like Beard and just take over the whole stream with my my rants. So I just want to know. I liked it when I was a kid, but I did not like it as an adult. But I will still review it. We'll still give it some. I'll still be here. Let's just put it that way. Look at Beard. He's like, dang it. It's okay.
Don't
I like
be jealous because you don't have a dog that looks like you.
Do I want a dog that looks like me?
Shouldn't everyone?
Okay. Is there a lot of bald and long bearded dogs out there? Okay.
Shouldn't kill me.
Lurking. Oh, good to see you, Unlocking Lore. Good to see you. Thanks for lurking. Anyways, what did you think? I mean, like I said, this was a very different character for Michael J. Fox. He's normally kind of like, the good.
Yeah, he typically is the nice guy. I mean, especially because he's always had a young face, so he always played younger characters than he was. So he kind of played that typically innocent role. Yeah, so it is a little bit different to see him kind of in this sort of swindler scoundrel.
Yeah, he's kind of
role.
like just frumpy, and he's like wearing like 4-day-old clothes. I don't think he's showered for a while, right?
Yeah,
Well, it's the only horror movie I think he ever did.
Yeah, he's never. I mean, he would do movies normally like not just Back to the Future, but he like Doc Hollywood, and he would do like
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf, or he would do the one with the kids where he's the like agent, the movie agent. So he was always like the fun-loving guy.
And just to add to it, this is, I think what I read was the last leading role in a film he ever had.
Yeah, because the one after this was Mars Attacks, and he only did like a small part in that.
Yeah, there's just like one or two other ones that he had a minimal thing. Other than that, he went to TV. He wanted to spend more time with his family because, as you mentioned earlier, JT, is that he was dealing with his diagnosis and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, he was unannounced, diagnosed around 1990, and then by the time this movie was in, he was getting a good signs of it. Now we'll save it for the fun facts, but I have some funny, interesting quote from him about what happened to him. But yeah, he might have been the reason. There was some scenes in this movie where you can kind of maybe see that he's having struggles, and maybe the reason why he looked tired and kind of like having a hard time is, it's really him. Now there are other characters. Obviously there's the ghost. I always thought Beard, this would be you with the gunslinger. That would be you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought he was a fun character. I was sad that he didn't make it. I didn't know ghosts can die, but I was.
Well, that's how that one was sticking around so long, as he was taking a lot of those out.
There were cut scenes where he still stuck around further into the film. Just he was half the man he used to be. Literally, he was crawling around the ground with no legs.
They never explain why these ghosts stuck around though. Like some ghosts in the movie, they get sucked up into heaven or hell.
Yeah,
these ghosts kind of stuck. Did they ever? I can't remember. Did Did I miss that? Did
They don't dwell on it too much. I mean, there's like a throwaway line. It's like, you just need to go into the tunnel. Stop sticking around.
So it's kind of like they decide they have like 30 seconds and they just walk away from the tunnel.
It seems like it's a choice. Like they can just go for it, or they can stick around if they, like we see with one other character, a ghost that is attached to a person doesn't want to leave.
So these guys never wanted to leave.
Yeah, for some reason or the other, they decided to stick around.
And then they kind of missed their opportunity, so to speak.
They took too long to think about it.
Yeah.
Don't think too long, folks.
But see, but like the two ghosts right here, or these three that actually helped them out.
Right.
The two right here ended up in heaven towards, because you see them.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost because they sacrificed themselves to help them. They got a second chance.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So,
and oddly enough, the one on the in the very bottom left there looks a lot like wasn't that Michael J. Fox's character in Atlantis that kind of had that same look to him?
Yep. He did Atlantis.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I kept thinking that every time I saw that character on screen, it's like, okay, this is kind of annoying me.
Yeah. Well, the guy, the one that plays the judge, that's John Aston.
Yes.
He played. He was one of the original. He was the original Addams Family Gomez.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that either. Very cool.
White Addams Family from the TV series.
Oh, you're right, John. Yeah, you're right. He's right there. You are right. He's just a little older. How did the nerdy guy and the pimp die prior to becoming ghosts? Well, the nerdy guy, I think they don't explain that, but I guess maybe he's wearing a Letterman jacket, so maybe he was.
Could be a bus crash or something.
Bus crash, yeah. Maybe he was in a band and fell off a cliff. And then the pimp, clearly another pimp took him out. That's probably what happened.
Why are you assuming he's a pimp?
or the hoe fought back.
Yeah. Well, he was very upset that he had the same style for like 40 years.
Yeah.
And also that he couldn't smoke cigars, which I feel that.
Yeah. So here's the rest of the characters and cast. We got Michael J. Fox, obviously, and then you got Trini Alvarado. She's the love interest, but she falls in love pretty quick after losing her husband, like within days.
Well, they do. There's a couple lines that makes it seem like it wasn't really going that great anyway for a while. So,
like tigers purring on for you.
Well, I mean, on top of that, like as soon as he died, she figured out that she was missing $16,000 in the bank account. It's like, what
he
the
had
hell
an investment. He had an investment.
Yeah.
We're talking about the boyfriend or the husband, I guess, and that was where is he on here? I know
it was Peter Dobson, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah,
that's him. Yep, that's
Ray
him.
Linsky.
And then you've got Jeffrey Combs as Milton. I'll get into his character
Jeffrey
later.
Combs is fantastic in every single role he does. I don't care what it is.
Not this movie.
That's the whole point of his character, is to weird you the hell out, and that's what he does.
Well, he almost weirded me out to where I stopped watching. Let's put it that way.
Some of his styling was actually his suggestion to Peter Jackson, so he actually made some of the decisions there.
Yeah, so you got Troy Evans as the sheriff. He was good. You got some of the deputies there. What did it? Oh yeah, Diafira in the middle. There. Yeah. He great point. Pink skin.
And yes, great point. Pink skin. See, he's been watching Enterprise. He's in Enterprise.
Okay.
He's in a lot of Star Trek. I do want to point out that as a bonus fact that it felt weird adding it into the fun facts section, but still worth mentioning is I think it was Dee Wallace, her character. When she was filming this, her husband died of a blood clot. And so she had to fly back and forth several times between New Zealand and America to take care of everything, funeral arrangements, attend the funeral and things like that. And it wasn't until after everything had fully wrapped that she learned that Peter Jackson paid out of his personal pocket, not film expenses, not production expenses, nothing like that. he paid out of his personal pocket as a gift to her, kind of like a, you don't have to come back, but thank you for coming back and still doing this sort of thing. So
Yeah, she played the girlfriend, another girlfriend, the girlfriend of the serial killer.
Yeah.
yes,
Patricia. Yeah.
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 So yeah, just Peter Jackson seems like a good dude, and
Yeah,
was
he
he
seems
seems
like
like he was like that even before he got super rich with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. All right. So then we find out there's from some in this town, people have just been dying quite a bit. I think was it 29 or something when we get to this point. People have, or no, 36, I think.
It's
total people.
Well, the first
Yeah.
time he sees it is on the husband here.
Yeah, but there's
Yeah.
since there was this big murdering spree with this couple. It was the serial killer, and which was played by
Jake Busey.
Jake
Fantastic.
Busey. Yeah, and then they take out like a whole hospital of people, and then they have a number. Like I think they ended on like 13 or something.
12 was the hospital.
Oh, 12 was the hospital. Okay.
13 was his wife, wasn't it?
Right.
Yes.
So then we find out like something's been going on weird in the town. Like since then, all these deaths have been happening, like weird heart attacks, and we're up to 37 when we pop into this movie. And it's the husband of the there with the number 37, which I thought he was kind of funny when he died because he was like, "I can't die. I'm 28." I did think that was pretty funny.
Actually, the weird thing is, I think he said 29, which was the age that Michael J. Fox was diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then
sorry to bring things down.
That's okay. So you have this coming around, and Michael J. Fox's character Frank he sees the number, so he knows who's next, and he's always trying to save the people who are next. So people think it's him. People think he's starting it. And the reason why is because, Beard, do you want to get into what happened to him, Mr. Frank, and his wife, and kind of explain that?
Yes, the story that we're told. We're told it from we never hear it from him, but we don't see anything that says that what we're told is different. So I mean,
no,
it's kind of the town rumor is what
he never explains what really happened.
Yeah, so they were building a house, and he had promised his wife that she'd have this backyard garden or whatever. And at least according to what we're told, the town rumor is that without telling her, he decided to pour like 4 inches of concrete and make a little miniature basketball court. Then they have this argument. They go out, they're driving, and he runs off the road for going too fast. And this is all coming through like Jeffrey Combs is like super like paranoid, like conspiracy theory FBI character. He's really over the top. So yeah, he's chewing all the scenery. But the way he describes it is that her body was found like 13 yards away or something from wherever the car was, and his Frank Bannister's razor blade, like construction, like work style razor blade, those old style that I'm sure like everybody's dad had back in the day.
Yeah, like a box cutter.
Yeah, was missing from his toolbox, and she had a 13 carved in her head. And as Frank Bannister, Michael J. Fox's character said, he didn't really remember what had happened. He kind of like stumbled back into town and didn't have really much memory of things. But from that point on, he was able to see spirits, and that's kind of when he started
his tragic event.
Yes,
and that's why he sees spirits, and that's why he's down in the dumps now.
And that would be really terrible, because imagine seeing that happen to somebody that you loved, and then you could see spirits, but you never see her spirit.
Yeah.
Because she chose to go on.
Yeah. So did. I mean,
where was he though? Like he must have been knocked out maybe the whole time.
Yeah, that's kind of what's suggested, because
but no one says anything.
Yeah, we see flashes later on that maybe he saw more than he actually remembered at the moment.
Because from Milton also, he even says that the construction worker that he interviewed that saw him at the house before they left said he was drinking as well.
Yes.
Mhm.
So you got the drinking, and then you maybe had a concussion from the wreck, and he's probably not going to remember too much of anything, really.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a. Hey, look at this! Thanks for subscribing. I thought you already were subscribed, Blair. But thanks,
Hey,
man.
thanks, Blair.
So anyways, yeah, so he's trying to figure out what the heck's going on. The FBI agent is trying to figure out what's really going on, and what is really happening is, yeah, it's like this Grim Reaper looking ghost that's going around and just kind of, which I can see this in 1996 being pretty cool, right? Pretty cool visual effects, but now
Okay.
I didn't really like it. I thought it was a little.
So Blair says I was YouTube Games. Yeah, YouTube does that occasionally. This is a reminder for anybody watching. Check your subscriptions.
Yeah.
I think this actually holds up better than I think you're giving it credit, JT. It does look a product of the time, but I think it looks better than a lot of things that were coming out at the time.
Well,
the
Matrix was out around this time.
Well, some of the effects, especially regarding this kind of Grim Reaper character, don't age as well as a lot of the other effects. A lot of the ghost effects when they're walking through walls, you have the camera tracking going from room to room, but it's also tracking characters that obviously weren't on that set because they can't physically walk through that wall. And some of that stuff is so seamless, but it's not over the top like what we see with this character. So there's a lot there that I think gets ignored as far as like special effects still holding up, because people look at things like this where it's kind of like, yeah, it does kind of look like late.
Yeah, I would say and I think at the time the ghosts were kind of like revolutionary, right? Ahead of his time, like that was kind of like new.
It was close. I mean, you had what was another one when it comes to can't really think of one off the top of my head.
Wait, he used it's almost like he used the same effect in Two Towers when you meet the ghost, the like ghost army, right?
I mean, Return of the
King.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the basics of it are very simple. It's you film a set. I mean, and the very simplest version has been done for a long time, where they would lock down a camera, it wouldn't move, they'd film a plate, and then they'd put like a black backdrop or later on a green backdrop or whatever that they could key out, and then they would film somebody else in that, then they'd layer it over it and just do a little bit of transparency. That's the easy way. What makes this so good is how much interaction there is between the ghosts and the people, the ghosts and the scenes, the fact that they're walking through walls as the camera is panning through other things. So you've got motion controlled camera that has to recreate the same camera move every single time to keep that smooth. And that just adds so much to it.
Well, on top of that, you have the damage and the decay that you get to see on the ghosts as well.
Yes.
Yeah, well, they never explained that either, like why they're decaying.
Because they're not supposed to be there.
Yeah, but but it looks like what's his name? The husband, though, he's decaying faster than the other ones.
Well, you look at the judge. Look how badly he was decayed.
Yeah, but
he'd been around a long time.
Yeah,
I think. Well, I mean, when it comes to it, like the way that like the Reaper character is able to stick around and get stronger and actually affect humans, is because you find out later that he's, taking the ghost.
Okay, yeah. He's
eating
not
them,
who he's eating the ghost. But what we do find out who this character really is.
I'm not going to say yet, but I'm just saying that's how he's able to affect a human being, is because he's gained more power from taking on the what's left of the ghost, I guess you could say.
Right. All right. So looks like we lost Beard there for a minute here.
Sorry, something came. I'm still here, but I didn't want to look super distracted. I'm still listening, but I didn't want to look like I was having to multitask. I'm still good.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to take a little break, and we're going to show this wonderful video clip of you.
George of the jungle, strong as he can be.
Every time.
Another thing, did you notice the dog at the very beginning had the judge's jawbone.
Yes, I did notice that. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was good.
That was actually there. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. There were still some fun moments in this movie, but I don't remember. For some reason, I seem like when I watched it when I was younger, I felt more into it than I am now. But let's go ahead and get into the numbers, and we'll guess the box office what it did.
11, 92, 12.
All right, so we have the budget, the opening weekend, and what it made gross worldwide. So this one, I'm going to give you a hint. This one brought in more money and cost more money than Troll 2. So just so you know.
You expect me to remember last week?
Yes.
Man, the budget.
Yeah, this movie is kind of like a satire movie. It wasn't really. It was like a jokey horror movie.
Well, yeah. I mean, have you ever watched Evil Dead 2?
Yes.
Okay, it's very similar in the way the slapstick and all that stuff goes.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And
all right, so go ahead.
I don't know if Peter Jackson is a big fan of Sam Raimi or not, but he does a lot of the similar things that Sam Raimi does. For example, the car that Michael J. Fox drives in this movie is a Morris Minor. And if you go back and watch Bad Taste, Dead Alive, and even Lord of the Rings, the car shows up in that too. He plants it in almost every movie he's done.
Wait, he's a car in Lord of the Rings?
Yes, but you have to be very quick to see it. It's when they're leaving the Shire at the first movie, and it's in the background, and it's just a little bit of dust, and it's a little car.
No one has time for that.
Okay. Anyway, it's something Peter Jackson. It's something that Sam Raimi does as well. But Sam Raimi does it with that Delta 88 that Bruce Campbell drives, the yellow car.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I know, directors like to do that kind of stuff, right? Little Easter eggs. So the budget opening weekend gross worldwide. Def, let's start with you. What do you think they were?
They got Michael J. Fox, so they had to throw some money into this because it wasn't at his peak, but at the same time, he was still popular.
He was doing a TV show this time, a pretty popular TV show.
So I'm gonna say the budget's $100 million.
100 million. Okay.
Straight up 100 million.
100 million.
Maybe no. I'll go with 82. 82. I'll stop at 82.
82 million.
Okay. And I would say gross worldwide is over 100 million.
Okay. Gross over 100 million. Okay. What do you think it made on the opening weekend?
I don't think it made maybe 10 million on the opening weekend.
Hey, look at Admiral's. He knows exactly what to do. He's guessing 135 here. Or no, 35 million. Sorry. I don't know why I said 1.
Nice.
That's good. Everyone else, you can guess too. We'll give you a few minutes. Beard of Liberty, what do you think?
I didn't stumble across the actual numbers like sometimes I do when I'm looking up facts, but I did stumble across a few things that made me a little bit aware about how things might have gone with this. I think the budget is probably, I want to say like 50 million, because it does have some special effects in there, but other than that, like you said earlier, Defro, it's kind of like a location that Peter Jackson's already filmed in, so he's probably not doing a lot of expense for travel and things like that. Mm-hmm. He did have to bring a lot of people over to New Zealand, so there is that to factor in, but I don't think that the production budget was too high. I want to say like 50 million budget. Opening weekend, because I know when they wanted to release it and when it did release, I think it did pretty poorly.
Okay.
Maybe like 7 million opening weekend. Gross worldwide, kind of at a loss on this. I'm just going to go with, let's do 35. Yeah, no, let's do 40 million gross worldwide.
Okay.
But I do
All
think
right.
that this was ultimately a loss on all counts, at least
Okay.
in the theaters.
So Rick says 30-30, like the TV show.
Nice.
And then Admiral says 120 made.
Nice.
100
Okay.
for the maid. All right, ready? Here we go. The budget was 30 million.
Oh, damn!
Opening weekend 5.5 million. It came out in July 21st, 1996, right in the middle of the summer of another big hit movie that came out a few weeks before it, and we'll get into that later. And it made barely, it almost made it to the budget, which was 29.3 million gross wide. So R2 was the closest one.
Yeah, I can't remember if I'm stepping on my own trivia, but they wanted to release this in October, but the studio said no, and they fought for it. And the studio said no, and they fought more, and the studio said no, and released it in the summer.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah, you pretty much guessed the budget. You were pretty close.
Well, here's what kills me is, I'm thinking of today's numbers when I'm looking at these movies, and I get all screwed up with that. When you got something like Acolyte that takes 300 million to make, and it looks like complete shit compared to this.
Yeah,
it throws me off.
I look at I go out and get the numbers of the time. R2 is the one that does all the inflation adjustment.
See, I have to look at like other movies at certain like sections of time where I might know a little bit about the budget and things, and that's kind of like how I judge stuff.
Okay, well, a great question from Admiral here. If it was an R, if it wasn't an R, do you think it would made more? Probably. I think more kids would have gone. I probably would have gone.
Actually, yes. I mean, historically, until we get to something like Deadpool, everything that was PG-13 or lower made more money. I mean, there were some outliers there, like Saving Private Ryan did really well, but it still didn't do as well as something that we've seen recently. So, yeah, if they'd been able to get down to PG-13, I think they would have made a lot more. Still, opening in the summer, especially up against summer blockbusters.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. But yeah,
I know we're going to get to it. I don't know what they were, but I like this movie. But up against summer movies, it doesn't really hold a candle.
Yeah, this is something you would have to release in October, because that's usually when our movies probably do their best.
Right. Yeah, a Needless R. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's when your horror movies come out. You can have your Saw franchise was put on October for a reason.
Mm-hmm. All right. So speaking of what the heck, this character. This character,
Jeffrey Combs, the man is a legend.
There was okay. You had it. You had your level here. You were here, and then he just went to here, and
he always does that in everything. Yeah. Even what was it, Brunt from Deep Space Nine? Hell, the dude plays 3 characters in Deep Space Nine, plays 2 of them in the same episode at least twice. The guy is
way on a legend. Or something like that.
Yeah, Wei-Yun and Brunt.
I'm not saying it wasn't great at what this character was. I just don't think this character was needed.
Shram, yes. I mean, they wanted him specifically. Like, I think Peter Jackson said, he liked him so much in Reanimator, and he he didn't really know if he was still actually even working at the time. He basically just put out told people I don't know if he's still taking jobs, but I want him in this movie. And I think, maybe getting my facts mixed up, I think he was the character or the actor that signed on knowing nothing about the movie or the story or the character.
Wow.
He just said yes. And then when he learned about the character and it hit the character's eccentricities and what the character had gone through, he actually styled the character, the hairstyle and everything, to kind of make that sort of uneasy feeling that you get from him. So it was very intentional. The guy is fantastic.
Why does his chest plate have nipples?
Don't ask questions.
Hey, It's made of lead for a reason, though.
Yeah, he does. For some reason, he doesn't think the ghost is going to get him.
Well, no, it's something he thinks like he's killing them with his mind.
Yeah. I mean, the
And-
character. Yeah.
He thinks Michael J. Fox, Frank Bannister is doing it. So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the character overall, what we're told about this is he's an FBI agent that's been sent in undercover into cults and things, and I'm trying to avoid certain words YouTube might flag that.
It's okay.
And he was put through things and subjected to things. We see later on he's had like things actually carved on his body, not even just tattooed.
Yeah, what's all that about?
So he's gone into the depths of hell to try to figure things out, and so he's gone a little bit nuts.
Yeah. And apparently he got screwed at one point because he had to use a donut in the car.
They don't really get into that. They just they
kinda-
let you figure it out.
He has hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
This
well,
character was way out of left field for me. I don't think I don't think they needed this character at all. I think they could have just. I think the sheriff could have done what this guy did, and it would have been fine. Because the sheriff was like,
honestly, the
iffy.
way he goes out, like you hate him so much by the time he goes out, you're like, yes.
I did enjoy
Yeah,
that.
That's
Yeah.
that means he played the character right then.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I knew they didn't really get into. You don't really okay. So you lead it up to it, Ro, that the ghost is actually the serial killer couple.
Yeah.
Busey and Patricia, or I can't remember her name now, but Patricia is a character. They're in on it. He is the ghost. She does the carving, or she kind of hunts out the people that she wants him to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out in the hospital that they did the same thing. He did a lot of shooting. She did a lot of shooting. They were kind of like a tag team, natural born killers style of serial killers.
Yep.
And he's this, just this evil spirit going around town causing mayhem.
Yeah.
And
oh yes, spoilers.
It's okay.
Well, basically,
It's
the
like
sheriff even says at the very end of the movie, like, "Hey, we found all kinds of shit." Like, she was trying to call him back.
Yeah.
With the Ouija boards and shit like that.
Yeah,
by the way, we do spoilers a lot on this channel because these are older movies. We're just reliving the memories. So if you haven't seen the movie, you can leave and come back. But
I will touch a little bit on the inspiration for these characters when we get to the facts.
Okay.
But I also do want to point out that one of the reasons that Wallace was cast
back now if you want.
No, it's okay. One of the reasons that D. Wallace was cast for this role was because Peter Jackson thought that there is no way that anybody could think that the mom of Elliot from E.T. was a bad person.
So that's right. That is the mom from E.T.
It was an intentional misdirect, just straight from the casting.
Yeah.
Elliot. That's right.
Yep.
Mom. Yeah, I thought these two pair were good. I think these two characters
they're
were fun
fantastic.
together.
I always like Jake Busey. He's got just enough crazy of his dad, but a little bit more normal to be like a little bit more likable.
Yeah, he's got some huge teeth too. But yeah, he did good. I think I liked him as this creepy character. And she did really well at the end there when she was like chasing him with a shotgun.
When she flips that switch,
yeah, her angry face, I mean, is spot on.
Well, you do see, a little glimpse of that when they flash back to the hospital scene. That's her when she's younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but here's the scene that I enjoyed.
This is the one that I alluded
that
to
shit
earlier.
Was hilarious. That was hilarious.
So
he was originally supposed to receive a chest shot from the shotgun and then just fall over dead. But since the studio said, no, we're never going to give you a PG-13 rating, Peter Jackson said, screw it, I'm going to make his head explode.
And I don't know if it would really explode that way, but hey, whatever.
I've seen some stuff.
And then he's a ghost, and he doesn't cross over either. He's kind of just, because Michael J. Fox still sees him even after.
Well, they both see him.
Yeah. You're now you are spoiling. You're spoiling.
my
it.
bad.
No.
My bad.
Yeah, jump into like the last 30 seconds of the movie. God damn it, Depp. This is why you're never coming back again.
Dang, you really set off Beard. He was like, R2's right now is just going, what? All right, so anyways, more like a rip in half than explosion. Yeah, probably. All right, but yeah, this is how he goes out. Basically, this whole scene, this is one of those scenes where I thought they used more of oh man, what's her name? Hold on, I'm missing it. Trina's Lucy's character. This is where I thought like maybe Michael J. Fox wasn't really had the energy to do some of these scenes, like running around the house, you know, being shot up with a shotgun, that kind of stuff. And he's like a ghost. He turns into a ghost too, and there's crazy stuff that happens. But this is one of those scenes where I'm thinking he was supposed to do, and he probably couldn't do it. So she did it.
Potentially.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this was a fun this was a fun scene. This was kind of fun. This getting rid of this guy. All right, so let's find out what was in the movie theaters this time and what you could have seen besides this one if you didn't want to see it, and we'll find out here.
Shut your drums and stop kicking us face! We're trying to watch the movie!
So,
oh, damn.
Movie came out on July 19th, 1996, and if you remember that date, 1996 very well, Independence Day was on its third week.
Yeah.
Anyone remember Independence Day back in 1996? It was a huge hit. It was a blockbuster. It wasn't going away. It has already made $200 million in its 3 weeks. So people were seeing this movie 3-4 times at this point. So there was no way.
Such a terrible time to release this movie.
There was no way this movie would have been number one. However, it did beat out Kazam, and which is Shaq. Shaq's movie.
Don't. Okay. Okay. I was about to say don't, but in the comments, let us know. Mandela Effect, Kazam, Shazam. What's your opinion?
No, it's Kazam.
It's Sinbad, man. Sinbad. What you talking about?
Sinbad was not in that movie. Which is a very fun movie. Actually, I wouldn't mind reviewing. Multiplicity is actually a really fun movie with Michael
Keaton. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have Nutty Professor, which was also in its fourth week and almost was killing it during that time. And Encourage Under Fire was actually a pretty good movie too, and Racer.
I would not have expected that either, R2, that it beat out Multiplicity.
Multiplicity was one of those movies where people flock to the movie theater to watch, really. So
yeah, because I think Frighteners probably dropped off. Okay, we don't have the other week, like the following weekend's numbers here, but I expect Frighteners dropped off really hard, really fast, and really only picked up notoriety in DVD sales and VHS sales later on.
Yeah, because like you said, this is the worst atmosphere to try to put a horror movie into.
I mean, even let's go ahead and let's be broad and say like a comedy horror, because there's a little bit of comedy in there, like you said, a little bit kind of like Sam Raimi stuff. But regardless, this is just a terrible time to release it.
Well, if you look at Independence Day, they added it to 64 new theaters this week, so it was not going away. And Nutty Professor was added to the same amount. So,
well, is Phenomenon the one with shit? Is that?
Well, I don't know if it's with that.
Is with Travolta? Is that Travolta movie?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's John Travolta and Kira Sedgwick.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. That's the one where he gets he starts to
Phenomenon.
Like he remembers shit like all the time.
And Courage
Hey,
Under
I
Fire.
remember
That's
stuff
Denzel.
all the time too.
Yeah, Courage Under Fire is Denzel and Meg Ryan. God, that was such a terrible time to put this movie out.
Yeah,
It was.
You got some action, you got comedy, you got even Disney shit that's out here, and you're gonna You're just gonna throw the Frighteners in the middle of it and be like, oh,
Yeah,
there you go.
it is very clear that the studio had no faith in this movie.
No, I don't think so. Which kind of is a bummer because, like I said, like you said earlier, this was Michael J. Fox's his last leading role, and it's too bad that this movie. It wasn't like a better movie, right?
Yeah.
So here's some other posters from the time when this movie came out. Some weird Asian poster from overseas over there. They make
Well, we know it ain't China because they put the black dude on the front there.
Dang! Wow!
And also,
Hey,
since you mentioned him, since you mentioned him, shout out to Chi McBride. That dude is amazing in everything he does. I think he was in Pushing Daisies. I can't remember a couple other things he's done, but every time he shows up, the guy's just. Wasn't he the dude and also in iRobot?
Maybe
with
that was
Will Smith.
Yeah, he might have been in that movie, but he was pretty popular in the '90s. He did like Gone in 60 Seconds. We reviewed that movie here as well. Hey, what's up, Zombie Box? He's been in quite a few movies. So we also reviewed Independence Day if you wanted to see our review of that. And then there's a big Frighteners poster there. Death is no way to make a living. You probably would have saw this in the movie theater as well. Now, one of the cool thing about this movie was when it came out on VHS, it had a really cool like hologram on the cover.
Yeah.
If you moved it, it would like show the face and then hide the face, like it was almost coming through the VHS. So here's the VHS of that movie, Frighteners, and then
some of the imagery that there, and I don't think it was the movie posters at the time because I think they kind of rebranded that scarier face to make sales later on in VHS and such. But honestly, the pictures we saw before are much more representative of what you get in the movie than this.
Yeah, because it looks like the cover of this VHS just tries to show you it's a straight up horror when it's really a comedy horror.
Yeah. One of those comedy horrors.
I am so excited about Star Wars.
Horror, JD.
The comedy horror.
Who's your big stud? That's me, honey. Take me to bed or lose me forever.
Despite all this new line, apparently believed in PJ to back the biggest movie they've ever made. Yeah. I'm sure
I think I touch on a little bit of that in my facts. If I don't, I'll just add it.
Yeah, here's our ID4 review if you're interested in watching one of our other reviews. There you go. There you go. There's a VHS of that. But yeah, leading up to the end, crazy stuff happens. Michael J. Fox saves the day with his new girlfriend.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and spoil some of the details. So if people really have not seen this and they hate this, plug your ears for just a minute.
You want to give him like a few seconds?
Okay, yeah, okay.
All right. Ready?
Okay, here we go. He risks everything, finds himself dragging the soul of one of the bad guys away to lure the other guy, and finds himself up in, let's say, heaven. They don't ever specify. It's just you go through the tunnel to your afterlife.
Yeah.
And he does get a brief moment, not only meeting up with his two ghost buddies who have been taken from him, but he meets up with his wife. And they say, you have to go home. Mm-hmm. He says, I am home. And they're like, no, we've been told that this is not your time. They send him back. And in a really kind of bittersweet moment, she tells him, like, I want you to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like she knows her time with him is over, but his time on Earth is not done. It's a nice, sweet little thing that I think what you watch through this whole movie, being as ridiculous as it is, and some of the other things and the little horror tropes and such, it's so over the top, especially Jeffrey Combs. You don't really expect that little bit of emotional twist there at the end. And I think it's very nice.
Yeah, it is a nice moment, and she kind of like tricks him because she tells him, she sees Combs' character in the car too, and he goes, "Hey, you can
Oh,
see
yeah.
ghosts too," and she's like, "Yeah," and she's like, "I didn't want to tell you," and then she like, it's you can tell it was a happy ending for
Yeah.
both of them because she was kind of in a bad spot as well.
But she lost her husband and all her money.
Yeah.
And everything else.
Right. And the one scene that you did not get in this movie was this.
I won't allow it!
What are you going to do to me, Daddy?
Tighten my belt by one loop so I don't feel hunger pains. And your sister and mother will have to do likewise. Okay, Joshua, you want to get rough with me? You want to show me that you don't like the choice of this house for our vacation by going on a hunger strike? Well, I'll accept the challenge. But just remember, when I was your age, I really did suffer from hunger. We'll see who gets through this. But just remember, I've got more practice than you. I'll see you tomorrow.
That was not in this movie. That was in Troll 2, which was last week, if you wanted to find out what the heck that was.
Why would you subject me to the little baby face JT again?
Okay. I don't know. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do fun facts here because you said you have a few of them.
Yes.
And before we put in our final review, we'll do that. So we'll go ahead and...
That's the fact, Jack! That's the fact, Jack!
All right, so go ahead, Beard of Liberty, with your fun facts.
All right. I've got more than I usually do, but most of them are pretty short. I'm just going to run through these real quick. If anybody wants to interrupt and add commentary, feel free to do so. Michael J. Fox repeatedly blew his lines by calling the judge, played by John Astin, Doc. Obviously, the name of Christopher Lloyd's character from Back to the Future. And I can see that a lot of the character interactions between them had that similar kind of back and forth. Michael J. Fox also performed many of his own stunts in the film, and at one point broke his own foot by just a basic, simple fall filming in the forest at night. Peter Jackson said Fox's injury was actually a blessing in disguise because it allowed him more time to work on the script and edit some of the film's scenes while Michael J. Fox recovered. Charles Starkweather, which was referenced a few times in this movie by Jake Busey's character, was a real-life killer and took out 11 people and 2 dogs during a nearly 2-month spree. And he had a 14-year-old girlfriend at the time named Carol Fugate, who accompanied him. He was caught, tried, convicted, and sentenced to electric chair. And Fugate was sentenced to life in prison, but then was paroled after 17 years. So that's what Jake Busey and Dee Wallace's character were based on.
Okay.
So that's
loosely a real story here.
Yeah, so they kind of took the inspiration from reality and created a new couple that were using this actual person in our world as a basis for how many people they wanted to take out. Dark fact, maybe not a fun fact, but it's a fact. This was actually originally planned as a Tales from the Crypt feature, but Robert Zemeckis liked the script so much he decided that it didn't need to be some like one-off thing. It should be its own standalone story.
Okay. It does kind of have the vibe of a Tales from the Crypt.
It does, actually, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then on top of that, you have it starts off kind of dark, and then it lightens up, and then it gets to the little bit of the drama at the end with and then John Astin's in there. I wonder if he brought his son onto the set, and that's how they met.
You think Peter Jackson was like, this kid was running around, he was hanging out, and he's just like,
stupid fat hobbit.
We'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
We did mention earlier that obviously Peter Jackson, he's one of the guys who says cameos in his films, but he's not annoying about it, like a certain other person that I think is incredibly overrated. Y'all can figure out who I might think that is. But also not only Peter Jackson, but Billy Jackson, who was 3 months old at the time, the son of Peter Jackson, was one of the levitated babies.
Oh,
And
okay.
also,
Cool.
I'm pretty certain was one of the child hobbits that came and showed up on screen in Lord of the Rings. Weta Digital, obviously Peter Jackson's visual effects company, had to expand their capacity from what they had previously, one computer, to 35 in order to meet the demands of the visual effects for this movie. But they obviously had good use for them, because afterwards their next project was the very special effects heavy trilogy of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So that was a very good investment for them.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it is weird to think that in '96 Weta Digital had one computer.
Most people, yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. A lot of computers weren't like I mean, people had them, but they wasn't like everyone had them.
And that was still the Wild West of computer special effects, where people had to basically make it on their own. There was no plugins that you could just do that made things and such like that.
Right.
All right, just a couple more here. One of the reasons that Sean Astin took the part of Samwise Gamgee in Lord of the Rings trilogy was on the advice of his stepfather, John Astin. Not his biological father, stepfather, John Astin, who obviously worked with Jackson and Fran Walsh in the Frighteners. He was so enthused with their support and understanding the film and appreciation of the crew that he could do nothing but sing the praises of them. And so kind of imbued that into Sean Astin, which made him want to go and work with him. And lastly, JT, you obviously touched on this a little bit earlier. Michael J. Fox, known for his roles, Back to the Future, Family Ties, etc., this was a 96 film, had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 1991 at the age of 29. During the production of this movie, The Frighteners, he was already experiencing the symptoms of that, including tremors and stiffness. So that could have contributed, like you said, to him looking kind of like he was worn out, tired, beat down. Maybe they did, switch some things around to accommodate. But I don't know if they necessarily did, because he never publicly disclosed that until 1998, 7 years after his, diagnosis.
He never disclosed it until 98, and he kind of went dark there after 90 when he did get diagnosed. I guess he went on like a bender, like he was drinking a lot. He didn't really interact with a lot of people.
Yeah,
this was right after this is right after Back to the Future 3. Because Back to the Future 3,
like we said earlier, this was his last like starring role in a feature film. And his justification at the time, and it still makes sense, I'm not saying like it was not true, is he was tired of spending time away from his family.
Right.
And if you had a diagnosis like what he was diagnosed with, obviously you would want to spend time with your family.
Right.
So that makes total sense.
Yeah, and like I said, like this was right when he was doing right after when he did some really good movies, and he was like diagnosed in 90. So I mean, Back to the Future 3 was 89, I believe. And then you had Doc Hollywood. So he was fighting through the entire time. One thing I want to say is
that with a couple. We saw that with I'm ashamed to admit I can't remember his name. The guy that played Black Panther, who just kind of kept his cancer diagnosis to himself.
Yeah, that was Endgame. Yeah, and a lot of people gave him flack for looking skinny, and now so when they asked like why they thought he had this disease, like how what caused him to have it, it was kind of funny. He says, I don't know. I fished near a lot of paper mills, and I ate the salmon I caught there. I've been to a lot of farms, and then he says I smoked a lot of pot in high school when the government was poisoning the crops. But you can drive yourself crazy trying to figure out why he was diagnosed. So I thought that was pretty funny. I can't imagine Michael J. Fox like smoking Adobe.
And I do like that he didn't fully disappear. Like he still did little bit parts here and there. He had
he still does some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. What was it? Spin City. He did that for a while. And then he had his big outro from that. One of my favorite things is his guest spot on Scrubs.
Yeah.
He was like in the middle of the worst of dealing with everything, and he still decided like, I'm going to appear on camera. I'm going to take what's happening to me. I'm going to put it into the character and everything.
And he does some cameo spots too. He's done a lot of Back to the Future type of stuff too. Yeah, good on him. He always seemed like a good dude.
He seems like a good guy. I have a very short list of people that who the way I describe it is it's a short list of people who could definitely afford far more beer than I can, but I would still buy one for them and shake their hand. And he's on that list.
Okay, yeah. Am
So
I on that list? Is R2 on that list?
Don't
What's
push it, JT.
So who's the guy that's overrated? I want to know about that one.
The guy that's overrated?
Oh,
this other
that's
guy
a whole
that was
nother
overrated.
show. You don't want to get him. You don't want to get him going. No, he'll tell you later. What was the other final fact?
Oh, that was actually the last bit. Was I just saved that for the end because I figured we'd talk about it a little bit, so I wanted to save that one to the end.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, Michael J. Fox. I'm very impressed that even into the decades that he's still kind of hanging out. So we're gonna review this. Our final review. Our last words, I guess. On the we're gonna review the Frighteners and on criticals.com. And this is where we post our reviews after the show. And
you saw that audience score, didn't you?
I did. Well, I can go back, but audience score is most excellent. Yeah.
So this is yet another show where I am oddly enough the one pushing for a higher score, and JT's probably the one pushing for a lower score.
Well, we'll see. I did have fun talking to you about the movie. I think this is always fun. But Criticalist, yeah, you can come out here and review on criticals.com. You can find Death Row there, you can find Beard there, Beard of Liberty there, and you can also find us there. All right, so we're gonna slide this bar up here. I'm gonna say it's kind of right around here. I'm not gonna say it's not bad. Did I hear grumps? Did I hear grumbles?
It's above a 70. I'm not going to say that it's. I think it's probably lower than what the audience score that we've seen so far. I think it's below an 80, above a 70, probably high 70s. I would give
Friends with Benefits was right around here.
I would give it like a C plus. It's not a bad movie. It definitely has its flaws. It's a little bit weird. Not everybody's going to like it.
Well, the average of that would be right here.
No, I said C plus, Mr. 72%.
Death Row, what do you think?
What do you got, Dev?
Well, you know what I'm going to say. I'm going for the full 100 on this one.
Okay. Well, we can't go that high.
Well, for me, and here's the reason why mine's 100%. This movie introduced me to Peter Jackson overall. And so I went back and started seeing his older movies to see what he was all about. And I realized he was just a fan of film just like I was. Like, if you look at Bad Taste, there's a lot of Tom Savini in that one, where he's playing around with special effects and practical effects in that movie a lot, and it shows. And then you go see Dead Alive, and there's a lot of Romero in that movie, and a little Evil Dead. And then you get to this one, and there's like Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness type comedy to this.
So you're saying that like it's not the same influences, but you can see specific influences like you can see with like maybe early Spielberg work. Well,
yeah, I mean, because then all of a sudden he does Lord of the Rings. It's like, holy shit, this guy.
Yeah, he comes out of nowhere as far as the rest of the world is concerned. New Zealand probably already loved the man.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, when I knew that he was doing when I heard that he was doing Lord of the Rings, I was like, well, he did these movies. He knows practical and CGI already. He's already got that in there. So this is going to be interesting, to say the least. And then when it came out, everybody loved it.
Then he did King Kong.
He did King Kong.
All right, JT. Yeah. Okay, so Death Row obviously absolutely loves this. I think it's pretty good.
We're going to put it right there. That gives you an average of me and you and Death Row.
Okay. He's going to add in the comments, by the way, Dev. He's going to add in the comments like Death Row is a maniac. He thinks this is perfect.
Yeah,
well, I will. This movie just hits all the boxes for me. I mean, just
okay. Well, that's great. It's great that you do like it that much. It does have a little bit of graphic language.
A little bit, not much, but a little bit.
It is rated R. There is quite a bit of violence.
See, and it's weird because as much violence is in there, I still don't think that this is an R movie. It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, but there is apparently there is some violence.
At least show a
there is a
booty.
little bit of sexual content because you have a ghost humping a ghost.
Oh yeah, the
my
mummy.
God.
Oh, that was hilarious.
I lost it.
A ghost humps. Yeah, that's
She
pretty,
got some nice teeth.
You just see the sarcophagus and his butt going.
Yeah. There's no political bias really. I would. It's a. I don't know if it's family friendly, but
I think
you
it
can
is.
watch.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is entertaining. I would say it's.
I think it's very entertaining.
Yeah. I think it's entertaining. It's a fun movie. It's just I guess I would have. I guess I thought I was more Roe when we picked this movie, and now I'm more like what I am now. So, and I'm gonna.
You're
put
more
that in.
grumpy barking dog.
Yeah, Death Row.
He always calls me out whenever I disagree with him on this stuff too.
I think his problem is he had some mice pee on his air conditioner, so he's in the grumpy mood.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Death Row gave it 100. And then we'll submit our review, and then we'll post our video there as well if you want to come back and watch it. So there you go. 77% rad is what we voted it.
I think it's fair. Thoughts. I definitely see your argument that it why it should be more. I think that gets.
We did higher than our friends with benefits. So
well,
that's
It seems like we're not getting enough benefits then.
No. Okay, so Blaine, the guy who created the site, he agrees with us about this movie.
Hey, I've disagreed with him on a couple of things. He's still a cool dude, and he's willing to talk about it. So I don't. He didn't have to agree with me on everything.
His main thing, though, I read his main thing was the movie kind of looks dated.
Yeah,
for the most part,
it does. It does look dated.
And I can understand that to a certain degree, but then you look at the stuff that comes out today, and it's like, well, at what point does stuff actually get better? You know what I mean?
It is a weird thing, and we won't delve on this too long, but on certain things do hold up, even if they technically still look dated. Yeah. So I get it. Yeah.
So there you go. There's our final thoughts on that. The Frighteners. I think it is still free on Tubi with commercials if you want to go watch it. If you own it, you can pull it out of your video store like Death Row.
Yeah.
Just a reminder,
and Blu-ray.
Tomorrow we'll have 1988 top 5 rentals of 1988 posted tomorrow, Tuesday around 8. I think it's in the morning, 8 a.m. So then you can watch 85, 86, 87, and 88. So there'll be 4 of our videos. These are doing really well for our channel. It'd be great if they could do even better. Please go share them out to your friends. Let them know about their fun. They go over like what you probably would have rented, or you probably did rent and forgot about that were popular during those years. We're coming up on 1989 in the end of the month, and then in November we're doing the 90s. So make sure you hit that bell on the YouTube app there, and that way you can get notified when these come out. And we have plans, since these are doing pretty good for us, we have a lot more plans for these type of videos coming out in the near future. So hopefully you like them.
Yeah.
All right. So Death Row, we got one more week with you. I hope you're still having fun.
Hey, I'm down for whatever, man.
Okay. Always a pleasure having you on. I do appreciate you taking the time.
Don't say too many nice things about him. It's like feeding a stray cat. He'll never go away.
Come on now.
Wow.
At least I won't pay. At least... Oh, you didn't even hear me though, did you?
No, what'd you say?
I said at least I won't piss on your air conditioner.
That is true. That is true. By the way, we'll still have you around, even if you did. So anyways, next week we are doing our last our last spooky movie review, and it is Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp. That one I do like. I watch it every year, so I'm excited to watch that one. Beard, have you seen that movie?
I've seen pieces of it. That's another one I've seen parts of, but not the entire thing.
That's what she said.
It's only so much you can see in the dark. What are you talking about?
That's what she said.
You're welcome.
All right, everyone. As always, we enjoy doing these shows with you. We appreciate everyone in the chat, and we.
I love you. You love me.
So make sure you hit the like button, and if you're new and you thought we were fun and you lasted this long, make sure you subscribe. Beard of Liberty.
That's what she said.
Flip. Beard, what are you doing tomorrow?
Put your finger right in there.
That's what she said.
I will be hanging out in the chat and highlighting chats, and I guess technically producing or whatever with Jacob over on his channel, Jacob Ironside. The panel on camera is full, but I will still be hanging out there with him, and we'll be going. What the movie is, and I just looked at it beforehand, and I can't remember. Don't worry about it. Just be there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I took a couple days off from doing live streaming for my video game stuff on my channel, but I'll be getting back to that on Wednesday with a special 2-part live stream because there is a certain show.
Yeah,
that I'll be splitting those live streams, hanging out with this guy over here, and I know you probably don't have it queued up when I'm put you on the spot anyway. Dang it, dudes. Go get yourself one of these hoodies. I've been looking forward to wearing this again so much because this is legitimately so comfortable.
Yeah,
this is my first after the weekend hoodie day of this winter season. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, if you want to make sure you go and check out our merch store and mixtees.com over there. Just search for After the Weekend. You'll find us, and you can get yourself a hoodie. You're at Hoodie weather is coming up, so or is here for some of you. Defro, what do you got coming up for your channel?
Not quite sure. I was thinking about doing Dead Alive or Brain Dead, the other Peter Jackson horror movie. Movie. Trying to get my pronunciation down right here.
Yeah. Okay.
But, I'm still waiting for response of when we're going to get Beard of Mechanics so we can see him fix his vehicle.
Look, I have to like get myself in the right spot, otherwise it's going to be me yelling at things and throwing ratchets into the woods.
Right. That's pretty funny. Maybe one day, maybe we'll do a third channel, and it will be Beard fixing his car. All right. So if you don't know, I have a channel also, Late Night with Capra. I do historical mysteries, unknowns, and you can find me and Defro on Wednesday night. We do one live stream a month over there. Wednesday we are covering. We're doing a little live show where we're going to talk about some scary stories that we've heard or watched on YouTube or somewhere on social media. And we're going to share those with each other, kind of like a campfire type of deal.
I'll be there too. I have a personal story to share as well.
Okay, that's right. You did confirm you will be there. So all three of us, if you want to see more of this crew, see me on Wednesday over there at Late Night with Cap. It should be fun. All right, everyone. You have a great rest of the week, and stay safe out there. All right, everyone. You have a great night. Thanks again.
Yeah.
See ya.
Truck to refrigerators to dumpster, 360 spin onto the palace, backflip gainer into the trash.